welcome back to another episode of Wrist Check Pod's Watch Review. Woo! So here we have a timepiece that I'm extremely excited about to share. Sovrygn watches.
Let's talk about it.
Shout out to our buddy Rotimi sending us a few timepieces to review. We have two here. We have kind of a black steel coated.
It's like PVD.
PVD coated.
Steel black with like almost like a cherry red dial.
Yeah.
And some rose gold colored indices and hands.
It's super cool.
It is nice.
Gives it very, very much of like a luxe feel. Kind of adding those colors that would be considered precious metal. So that's super cool. And then you have my personal favorite, which I've worn for quite some time, is just a plain steel case. I decided to wear mine on the leather strap. There is a bracelet option. But this one has this really interesting turquoise dial.
It's like an aqua color.
Very aqua with this pattern. Looks like the dial is actually like stamped. Looks like the dial is stamped. It has some texture there. Kind of gives you a little bit more of a different feel than your typical blue. With these orange kind of accents. Of course, us being New Yorkers, I said this kind of reminds me of, the New York Knicks.
Sure, yeah.
So obviously there's always a method to my madness when, gravitating or collecting timepieces, and this definitely checks that box.
Yeah.
The coolest thing about this piece is it can be had at about $650. You get a bang for your buck. Literally having a complete calendar.
Yeah, this was a watch that really does punch above its weight.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, it's really, really great.
It's lightweight, but it hits like a heavyweight champ.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with the power reserve indicator, having a 40-hour power reserve, having a day, date, and kind of like day of the month function, is really
like
cool.
It seems to be like a thing, right? Like complete calendar watches. This one's so that's exactly what it is, right? Yeah, you got your date wheel in between 4 and 5 o'clock. You got a month and day indicator. Also has an AM PM indicator at 6 o'clock, which is kind of cool.
Exactly.
So you got your full 24-hour scale. So this is essentially, it's a watch that you don't really ever have to take off.
No.
This is like a super everyday watch or a hardcore weekender.
Yes.
100 meters of water resistance.
Yeah. So you can take this on vacation and you can kind of, take a dip in the pool and not worry about anything happening to your timepiece. Has a beautiful exhibition case back. You're able to see
that's a nice touch.
That my Miyota movement, which of course is like a workhorse of a movement. Of course, a lot of reputable brands do use this movement.
Right.
And still the price point being very, very approachable. And when you think of there's so many options that are out there, right? When you think of fashion watches, or if you think of lesser price point, like quartz watches, right? This kind of checks that box. It's like an automatic timepiece that has your day, date, AM and PM indicator. Also gives you the opportunity to see your power reserve, so when you have to give this watch TLC. It actually does everything that it should.
It really does. No, what's great about it, I think this is a perfect watch for someone who is either new to watches, or someone who maybe has been collecting watches for a little bit, kind of just getting into it, but wants to experience a complicated watch. Right? Here's a complicated watch that can be had for sub $1,000, retails for $650. kind of unheard of,
Mm-hmm.
right? You don't really see many complicated watches at a price point like this.
Yes.
Which I really love. That's kind of one of the main things I love about what Rotimi is doing with Sovrygn is the experience that he's offering to someone who is a beginning watch collector.
Yes.
Right. This is a price point that rivals like Seiko.
Yes.
Right. This is a price point that rivals even like Baltic watches, like some of the you know the independent brands, Veyer that we've come to love that you know produce pieces for sub $1,000 and.
Yes.
Whether they're dive watches, time only watches, like here's something that you can kind of throw in the mix that punches well above its weight. It's giving you an incredible experience in terms of building that relationship with your timepiece. And they're actually limited. I mean, if you look at the back, you realize that these are each an edition of 500 units.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you have something that's also like not really pedestrian.
Yes.
But it's also at a price point where, in addition to it being accessible, you know, you don't have to feel bad about giving this thing a run for its money.
For sure.
Additionally, what I really, really like about the bracelet is I like how you have these easy like remove tabs just at the top of the bracelet by the lugs, and so just a quick pinch there, and it releases.
Yes.
The bracelet, and you can easily take that off without using any tools. Set that down, and you can toss your strap on.
Yeah.
And it's just like super simple, super easy. So like again, perfect watch for someone who's just getting into watches, even if they're a little bit seasoned, but you want something that's like experiential and kind of no frills. This is a perfect option. Additionally, we should mention that Rotimi was nice enough to give our audience a discount.
Yes.
So if you're looking to pick up something similar to this, or if you're looking to pick up a new watch, you know, something that delivers a complicated experience,
Yes.
look no further than Sovrygn. You get 15% off if you use the code WCP15
Yes.
at checkout. Totally worth it.
100%. Also, to that, I think this is a timepiece that I look to offer to my friends that want to get into watches, who also just like want to dip their toe in and see how cold the pool is.
Yeah.
Because when you take the dive, you go, there's a deep dive.
There's a deep dive.
There's a deep dive. There's a rabbit hole. You know, there's a kiddie pool side. When you get into the big pool, you know, you want to be able to fully immerse, or I'd say swim.
Absolutely.
This kind of puts you in a position where you can dip your toe in and kind of like appreciate horology. You can go ahead and actually invest in a timepiece that will be robust, that will be reliable.
Sure.
One that, you know, you can simply invest in. And if you choose, you know, to kind of put this down at some point because you may not be a watch person, right? You can go ahead and pick it back up when you're like, oh, I want to wear a watch. This is something that you can wear, you know, on your best occasions.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. Additionally, I think it's important to note, so our friend Rotimi, he has a background in engineering. That's where his passion for timepieces, I think, derives from understanding mechanics and figuring out how things work. Additionally, he is Canadian. We won't hold that against him. Shout out to Rotimi. But this is a Black-owned company.
Yes.
And, you know, if you are someone who is looking to support Black-owned businesses, Black-owned watchmakers, Black-owned watch brands, I think Sovrygn is an excellent choice to support. This is this is by no means his main source of income. This is a passion project. And I think just looking at it from that perspective conversationally, it's a piece worth investing in, for that alone.
Yes.
Right. So shout out to Rotimi, shout out to Sovrygn Watches, and visit the website, sovrynwatches.com, and put in that discount code, WCP15.
Yes.
Get 15% off today.